Hey, do you want to build a stronger family, create a better life? Well, that's what Divorce with Heart is all about. It's a show where I guide you along your divorce and co-parenting journey using the heart's wisdom, intuition, and legal expertise. So sit back, take a deep breath, relax. My name is Gina DiPrima. Let's get started. Hello. Thank you for joining me, everybody. This is episode 36. And here we are, February 2019. And I want to build on a theme we were talking about last month, January, was all about vision. I want to talk today about detoxing and making space so that we can have that vision or more fuller vision. So about detoxing, renewal, getting rid of the old to make room for the new. That's really what I wanted to dive in here today. Unfortunately, I did not get to my questions last episode, so I decided that instead of putting them at the end of this episode, we're going to jump right into questions first. Then I'm going to dive into this topic. So we'll be together again for about 30 minutes here, and I'm going to just go right into it with the questions. And some of these questions, I know you've been waiting for a little while, and so I apologize, and that's why we're going to start them off this way. Does the non-custodial parent have to keep children on health insurance if the residential parent and children qualify for state insurance? Well, this is interesting. And I happen to know that the writer of this question is in New York. So I'm going to start by saying I have no idea what the law is around this kind of an issue outside of New York. And the first part of my answer in a question like this is always going to be, what does your agreement say? Because your separation settlement agreement or court order that you reached is going to be the first source of, the first place to look for an answer, because that really governs everything. It governs what you're obligated to do, what you're not obligated to do, and what your rights are. So it may be that you had an agreement that the non-custodial parent is required to maintain health insurance for the children. And if that's what the agreement was, then that's what's got to happen. Regardless of whether or not the children can be on a cheaper kind of state-provided, county-provided kind of plan, Medicaid-type sourced plan. I will say this, and this does come up a lot, and again, this is particular to my jurisdiction and my area of practice, and what I've seen is that sometimes it is economically sound, I'll say it's an economically sound decision for parents to decide that a child should be on an insurance that is more of a Medicaid-sourced type insurance than for a parent to put them on an employer-provided insurance because of two things. Well, one, obviously cost. Generally, that kind of insurance coverage is free or it's a nominal cost. And two, a lot of times the coverage is better, all right? The problem is with this kind of insurance, it's really provided for by the taxpayers. And the whole purpose in us as a society of having this kind of insurance is to be able to provide the insurance for children that wouldn't have the benefit or opportunity of insurance elsewhere, which is not in your example. In your question here, the other parent, the non-residential parent, does have employer-provided insurance. So although it can happen, and I've seen it happen, what you have to be aware of is that if you do go this route and put your child on more of a state-sponsored, Medicaid-sourced type insurance in lieu of an employer-sponsored insurance through a non-custodial parent, the potential risk and what you need to be aware of is that the county who provides that insurance, the state, whoever it is in our area, it's the county, can and oftentimes nowadays does bring an application for reimbursement against that non-custodial parent. So you see, the county has a cost because this is funded by taxpayers. So what they'll do is they'll bring an action, they'll start a legal action, whether you as the custodial parent want it or not is irrelevant. They'll bring it against that non-custodial parent to be reimbursed, So although, in answer to your question, it may be possible to put the children on that kind of insurance through the residential parent, even when there's other insurance available through the non-custodial parent, it may not be ideal. It may not be ideal because there's always that idea of reimbursement, coming back around. So keep that in mind. Okay, next question. Tips for dealing with a super high conflict ex. Wow. Well, that's a huge, simple question, but fully loaded. Tips for dealing with a super high conflict ex. I don't think I can even get into that right now with a simple answer. Really, I try to deal with answers to that question scattered throughout all of the many episodes because there is no one way to deal with a super high conflict ex. And I also think that the level of conflict is the result of two players. So if you've been listening to me for a while, I'm a big proponent and advocate of owning our own shit, so to speak, right? Like what's going on with ourselves and how are we contributing and influencing to that ultimate result of conflict. So I can't really just list out any specific tips. It's a situational thing, but I will say, before we start just pointing the finger at the super high conflict ex, a good place to start, a better place to start is to look at yourself first. Look at what you can control, which is your response to that quote unquote super high conflict ex, your emotional state, your thoughts, your feelings. And when you look at yourself, you are taking a stand. You should be, I would think then, taking a stand when you're looking at yourself to correct anything that you see as contributing to the conflict, and then taking steps to heal what is contributing to those levels of conflict, which is the primary purpose behind Divorce Intelligence. In the past, you may have heard me mention it, that I work with small groups of people in a mentoring, coaching capacity. I still do. This is a little tangent here, but Divorce Intelligence, the school, has now launched. There's different levels of membership. At the lowest level, I call it basic training. And at that level of basic training, it's kind of for people that are more like do-it-yourselfers, that want to really just look at themselves and look at their thoughts, their actions, their behaviors, and see if they can't get in there more on their own and heal what's going on. And I provide to you tools to help you to do that on your own. And it's a low monthly fee, $27 a month, new tools added every month, can be PDFs, audio tools, video tools, that kind of thing. So you might want to check that out at divorceintelligence.com. At the higher levels of membership, there's more of a personal component involved, where I am involved with you one-on-one, personally, walking with you on this journey, helping you to heal what hurts, helping you to manage your emotions, helping you to manage the stress, and helping you to really just put your world back together again. And to participate and become a member at the higher levels, which I'm calling Advanced Apprentice Training and my Master Warrior Training, I do like to interview and talk to everybody first because it is a more intimate circle and a higher level of service. So if that's something that you think you might be interested in, go to doorwaytoheal.com, and that's where you'll be taken to my calendar, and we can book a quick call, and it'll be free. So, long story short to that, I've designed a school, Divorce Intelligence. Check it out. Look it up. There's different levels that you can become engaged in with, and It's designed to help you deal with a super high conflict ex, if that's the situation, help you put your world back together, and help you feel better as you're going through this breakup process. Okay? Next question, how to survive the time spent still living together while going through a divorce? And that's super common. That's super common. In fact, I'm going to tell you the majority of the people that I represent through litigation and the majority of the people that I assist through mediation are still living together. And it's not uncommon for them to continue living together right until the documents are signed, till the agreement is signed and the judgment of divorce is entered. So it's certainly difficult. How do you survive that time together? Well, again, that's a super loaded question. I'm going to probably do a whole episode on that. But one tip that I want to give today in answer to this question is take notice of what you are seeing. Take notice of what you are observing. Take notice of where your attention is. Because it's very, very, very easy and almost automatic to constantly see and notice and put your focus and attention on all of the things that are going wrong. Okay, the things that aren't being said or the things that are being said that are triggering you, the actions that are triggering you. I mean, maybe it's the dishes left out. Maybe it's the fact that I'm remembering this example that happened once. All of a sudden there was a dispute over grocery shopping, and the couple ended up somewhere along the way, the wife was buying her own groceries, the husband started buying his own groceries, and there was a fight over the chicken and whose chicken it was and who was going to eat the chicken. I don't know why that's popping in my mind, but I think the point of it is, again, look at where you're focusing, because if you're focused on the frozen chicken and whose chicken is it, if you're focused on the mess of the dishes, and if you're focused on how, he all of a sudden doesn't come home anymore, or as soon as he comes home, he's quiet and he's in his room, or he leaves the house, and all of these little things that add up, and that's all you're seeing, it's going to make your experience even worse, right? So try to see something positive. Try to see something as going well, no matter how small that may be. And if you can focus on that every day and add to it every day, that's one thing you can do to help you survive that time in which you are living together through the process. And give each other space. Remember also that everybody grieves in their own way. Everybody experiences life in their own way. We all come at it with our own unique perspectives, past experiences, and all those things shape us. So, give each other the space and the room to experience what it is that each of you are going through. And don't judge it. Don't judge the way your soon-to-be ex is experiencing it as being better or worse or not caring or whatever. Don't put a judgment on it. You do you, let him do him, vice versa. That will also help as you are trying to survive your time together. Okay, let's see. Dealing with controlling, meddling grandparents and their threats. Not 100% sure what the question is here. How do you deal with the controlling, meddling grandparents? I don't know what their threats are. That's not stated. And I also don't know, in this situation, if the questioner is talking about grandparents where both parents are still involved, and if both parents are aligned in how I guess they feel about the grandparents, quote unquote, meddling and controlling behavior. What I'm getting at is it's unclear here whether the quote unquote meddling grandparents, if the other parent also perceives them as meddling or not. And that's a key piece of information that I would need in order to answer this question more appropriately. But if you are able to do so, I think whenever possible, try to address whatever issues that are coming up with your former spouse, partner, whoever he or she is to you. Some people were never married. I get that. But try to address it directly first. What is their position on it? What is your feeling on it? And see, I guess, where you can go from there. I'm sorry, it's difficult to answer it because it's not a real clear question to me. But okay, that's going to do it for questions for now. If you would like for me to dive into your situation a little deeper, I'm more than happy to do so. Look for the posts in the Divorce with Heart Facebook group where I'm asking for questions. There's also a phone number that's listed there where you can call and you can leave me a voicemail question. You can text me your question or just submit it through the Facebook group, and I will be sure to answer it. And in asking questions, if you can give me, as much detail as possible, that'll probably help me to give you a better, clearer answer. Okay? So keep the questions coming, and I'll do my best to help you there. All right. So now I wanted to talk to you about clearing space. Last month, we talked a lot about vision, about, the life that you want to create. But the other side of this coin is that you've got to be able to clear out the old. You've got to be able to make the space to bring in some of the new and detox some of that old stagnant energy that might be around. And you need to do this. I would suggest doing this on so many different levels. And this, again, is an ongoing process. This isn't a one and done kind of a thing. So start at a simple level. Let's start at a physical level, the level of your body, right? I mean, how have you been feeling? Ask yourself, how have you been feeling while you've been going through this? What have you been doing to start taking care of yourself and taking care of your physical body? Are there any areas that you can stand to improve upon or clean up? Sometimes it's easiest to start here because we're already used to thinking about things in these terms of our physical bodies, in the terms of our diet, how much sleep do we need, the food that we're putting into our body, the drinks that we're putting into our body, the substances, everything that we're doing. Do an examination of that, a self-examination. And when you're doing that, ask yourself, have it running through the back of your mind. What can you get rid of? What are you putting into your body that isn't helping you to be that best version of yourself? What are you doing that might be holding you back from embodying that best version of yourself? And, what can you do more of? How much water are you drinking? Maybe you can drink more water. Are you exercising? If you're not, please do, because we all know that exercise helps to beat stress. When you're going through a breakup, it is without a doubt one of the most stressful times of your life. It's right up there in terms of grieving when you lose somebody close to you. That's what happens when you're going through these breakups. So anything you can do like that is going to be super helpful. Look at the foods that you're eating. I know not everybody can get into this idea of eating organic or all organic. It can be cost prohibitive for some people, but still look at what it is you're eating. Where are you sourcing your energy from? Are you eating fast food every day? Are you trying to put in healthy foods? Are you eating a balanced diet? Because all of these things matter. All of it matters, okay? Because your body, your physical body is very much connected to your emotions, your mind, your heart. We're all connected. And, not just all of our different versions or bodies of ourselves is being connected. It's the easiest way I can explain it right now, but we're all connected to each other too on some level. So that's an easy place to start. Look at yourself on a physical level as a physical being and start to take an assessment of what are you doing? Where can you clean things up? Right? What kind of foods can you put in your body so that you can perform at your best, so that you can be clearer headed, so that you can make the good decisions that you need to make, so that you can be stronger, so that you can get through this process. Okay? Look at your physical body. Exercise is so important, like I said. And if that to you means just a 10-minute walk a day, then let it be a 10-minute walk a day. It's not so much the quantity and the exertion that I'm talking about. It's the effort and it's the consistency. So even if it's small steps, take those small baby steps. See what you can clear out in your body. See what you can put into your body that's going to further support you in being that better version of yourself. Then move to your thoughts. Thoughts is another arena, right? What do you have constantly circling around in your brain day after day, moment after moment? What is going on? What are your predominant thoughts? What is the story that you've been telling yourself? I'm willing to bet that it isn't good. I'm sure it's a story probably rooted a lot in some victimology. You're the victim. You've been hurt. You've been wronged. Maybe you've got some guilt and some resentments in there as well. But take a look at that. Take a look at your story. What are you telling yourself? What are these self-defeating thoughts that you may have? How are you relating to yourself through your thoughts? That's the question. And can you clean it up? Can you clean it up? Can you turn it around? Because if you are not your cheerleader and if you are not turning around your own thoughts, then you're going to have to be relying on other people to do it. And when that happens, there's always a void. There's always a loss. It's never 100%. So start with yourself, get in your own corner and be your own cheerleader first. And then the beliefs will follow once you can start to change your thoughts. Okay. So instead of thinking things like, when this is all over, I'm going to be happy. As soon as he gets out of the house, I know I'm going to be happy again. All of this kind of if this, then that. It's this bargaining type of behavior that so many of us engage in. Instead of that, just set the goal for yourself, maybe that you are happy. This is what's happening around you. This is what's happening in your life. This is your experience. Sure, there's going to be moments of sadness. There's going to be different feelings. It's all part of the experience, but it doesn't mean that you're any less. You're not any less of a person. It doesn't mean you have to be any less of a happy person. Okay? It's just part of what you're experiencing. And you can still feel good. So make those your thoughts. I am happy. I do feel good. I am going through this as gracefully as I can be. Okay? So look at your thoughts also. And, along those lines, one little tool you might consider implementing is write it all out. Write out your story, write out your tale, write out how you're the victim in this, or write out why you're so guilty in this and why you're so wrong in this, and write it all out. And don't censor yourself and don't judge yourself when you're doing it, but write it all out. Write out everything you've been told about yourself, everything you've heard about yourself, all the different levels of nastiness, all that negative energy that is, attached to the past, but affecting you now in the present. Write it all out. And once you get that, that's going to be like your old story. That's your old story, the old version of what was going on. look at it, and this might sound a little nutty, but I believe that there's good in everything, even the bad. You just may not see it in the moment. So express some gratitude. You've got your piece of paper, it's in front of you, look at it, hold it to your heart. Be thankful, be honest, be genuine, be thankful. Yes, some of these experiences, some of these words in this piece of paper were hard to hear, hard to digest. Maybe they're self-created, maybe not. But be genuinely thankful for every experience and genuinely thankful for the opportunities that it brought you, for all of the good, all of the bad, unseen and seen. And then with that, burn it. Just burn it. You're going to burn it. And when you're going to burn it, throw it in the fire. Obviously, take the proper safety measures, please. But when you burn it and you watch it burn and you're watching it go up into the smoke, with that, have the intention that you are releasing this storyline. You are releasing this old energy that has brought you to where you are now. Any part of it that didn't serve you. And watch that go. Watch that go. And again, it's not a one and done. Do it now. Maybe do it once a month. And I'd love to hear how this works out for you. So please let me know. Please let me know. But that's one thing that you can do. And we're almost out of time. And I just want to mention this is about your environment. And this is something that I think she's becoming much more popular now that she has her show on Netflix. And I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it on Facebook, but Marie Kondo's system. And there's a lot to be said for her system. And I love how she's always trying to spark joy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up, watch the show on Netflix. But it's all about your environment too, and your space. And even though she's really talking about decluttering and organizing and that kind of a thing, you can apply the same principles here. Look around at your environment. Okay. I'm not saying it's got to be her method, but the point is look around at your environment. And if you're surrounded by things that are still triggering in you, maybe this intense sadness, maybe it's anger, maybe it's a sense of betrayal, whatever it is, maybe there's somewhere else that you can put that item, something else that you can do with it. A lot of times when you're going through the process of divorce, there's limits on what you can and can't do with your property. So I understand that. But that doesn't mean it has to be blaring right in your face. So survey your environment, look at your home. How are your clothes? What are your pictures? That kind of a thing. And maybe you can weed out some of that. Again, you want to clear the space, clear the energy of the old so that you can start opening up to something newer. Spent a lot of time in January thinking about that vision, but you've got to now make the space, clear it out so you can really embrace that side of you. You can't embrace the new until you start to let go of the past. And that's really what this is about. So there's a lot more I can say on this, a lot of other tools that I can offer. And you know what? I'm going to be posting that all in the Divorce Intelligence School under the basic membership curriculum. So if you want to get in on that, again, you just go to Divorce Intelligence. It's $27 a month. And I'd love to gift away some memberships too. So if you want to leave me a review, I'll be picking a random reviewer every month and gifting you a 1-month membership. Okay, so again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you have a beautiful week. Stay in touch with me through Facebook. Leave me a review, and know that I'm with you. I'm with you on this journey. Take care. Thank you so much for joining me today. Come back next week and be sure to visit my website at dpremalaw.com to book a call, or let's connect on Facebook at dpremalaw, where you can join my group for more support. Please remember that the information shared is for general and entertainment purposes only, and that by calling in or messaging me, we are not creating an attorney-client relationship. And my advice is not intended to be legal advice. For specific legal advice, please contact a lawyer in your jurisdiction.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.